What's happening, everybody? The Poet's here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. And a frequently asked question is, what system would I build if I could just build the system that I want, right? And so that's what this video is going to be about. I do have a number of parts here. Luckily, I have all the parts to build basically my dream system. So hopefully this is going to be educational for all of you to understand why I'm choosing certain parts over others. And of course, yeah, it's going to have some water cooling and a bit of extraness to it as well. Now, one of the main things that I do is video editing. You know, I use DaVinci Resolve a lot. I do a little bit of photo editing, not much, but yeah, DaVinci Resolve is kind of the bread and butter. I even use the DaVinci Resolve speed editor, which saves so much time on the cut and edit page. And because of the footage that I tend to film using, say, the Sony RX100 Mark VII, the Sony Xperia Pro I, of course, different Samsung phones, typically I'm going to want to use something like this, the Intel i9-13900K or KS processor. I do have both, so we're going to use the KS because it's better. This thing has a lot of cores, a lot of threads. It does have the efficiency cores as well. So when you have the 1300K and KS, it actually does use a lot less wattage than the comparable AMD processors over a 24-hour period. You're not constantly like running your CPU 100% all the time, full load. No, most times you're sitting at your computer thinking, you know, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do with this video editing project? And of course, when you're just not even using your PC, it's just sitting there idle. This is the king, the 1300K and KS over the AMD processors, because when it comes to the high level processors, these run very, very efficiently, I'll put it that way, because of these E-cores. They just kind of sip the electricity, like just Harlem Nights reference if you don't know. So this is going to be the king to run the new system that we're going to be building. Not in this video, but going to be building. So 13900 KS. Now, in order to get the power out of this 13900 KS, we want to make sure that it stays nice and cool because these things run hot, like easily 100 degrees Celsius. So what we're going to do is we're going to delid it. Yes, and apply some liquid metal. This right here is the EK Quantum Velocity Squared Direct Die Kit. So this, actually full kit right here, this is the CPU water block we're going to use, but we're going to take off the IHS off of the 13900 KS processor. It is risky, yes, but we do have this very nice delid kit that will allow us to do that, hopefully safely. So you just plop in the CPU, you kind of screw this back and forth, you know, it's kind of jarring or like making the glue on there less adhesive. And then eventually you can just kind of rip off the IHS, long story short, clean everything off, and I'll do a full video of that, so don't worry about that. But that then allows us to apply this direct die CPU water block by EKWB. So I'm very excited about that. So let's set that aside. Then we need to understand really what are we using this PC for. I know I'm doing a lot of video editing, and of course I'm doing a lot of gaming. Star Citizen is my primary game. I also love World of Warships. I did dabble in World of Warcraft day one when it released and checked it out again. There's a number of games that are also coming out, like Starfield I'm going to take a look at. Final Fantasy 16 just dropped on Sony PlayStation, and eventually I think it comes to, you know, PC, so I want to check that out. So yeah, I'm a gamer and a video editor and a YouTube watcher. So one of the things that I do know I'm going to want is very fast Ethernet. Internet, I have gigabit internet, sure. But my intranet needs to be very, very fast because I do have a NAS right down here that I built using the TrueNAS operating system. And with that, I have 6 8-terabyte hard drives put together in RAID, well, it's called RAID Z2, but it's RAID 6. So basically I could lose a couple of hard drives, replace them, all my data is safe, and that's on my 10 gigabit Ethernet network here for the house. So any motherboard I get needs to have native, ideally native, because of space and I don't want to do it network cards, 10 gigabit Ethernet, and that's what this has. This is the ASUS ProArt Z790 Creator Wi-Fi. Now, I've done a lot of videos on this motherboard, so check out my past videos on different platforms and all that stuff, but this does have 10 gigabit Ethernet. It is very, very fast, and the memory that I've been able to push on this thing has been so nice and stable. Because of the quality of my 13900K and KS, I can easily have 128 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM at 6,000 megatransfers on this thing with no issues. So it does heavily depend on the quality of your CPU in terms of how fast you can push your RAM and timings and all that stuff with stability. So yes, I kind of won the silicon lottery type of thing for that, but also this motherboard was able to run stuff like that better than all of my other motherboards that run DDR5. This also has a lot of storage options in terms of NVMe drives. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this ASUS ProArt Z790 Creator Wi-Fi. It also has 40 gigabit speeds for the USB-C. So basically what that means, when I'm transferring 4K footage, it's going to take a fraction of the time compared to your traditional USB-C speeds that a lot of people have on their average motherboard. So this is definitely for creators who are going to be transferring a lot of footage, and I can't say enough about this. It is Wi-Fi 6E, which is cool, but yeah, no, I'm plugging in that 10 gigabit speed port right there. So let's set this aside right here. Now what is next? So we have the CPU, we have RAM. Speaking of RAM, Kingston is one of the, I guess, longest term RAM manufacturers out there. Like when I was young, like little, Kingston was the RAM that we all wanted. That was like the Cadillac, right? And today they are still some of the best RAM that's out there. They really work on stability. They don't always come out of the gate first because they want to make sure what they come out of the gate with works and is reliable. And so all of my systems here all rely on Kingston Fury RAM. That's just what I do. I have a great relationship with them as well. Yes, they do send me a ton of free RAM, but other manufacturers send me RAM too. I still always go with Kingston. I've had zero issues whatsoever. Absolutely love it. And even when they say like, hey, these are, run at 6,000 megatransfers, CL37 or CL40 or whatever, yeah, they have a lot of headroom to be manually tuned to go even faster. So very happy with Kingston. I will be putting 128 gigabytes in this, and that's because I have, and it's been fast at 6,000 megatransfers. So shout out to Kingston. So we're just gonna go ahead and put that there. Then we need a GPU. Now, obviously with DaVinci Resolve, the go-to GPUs are NVIDIA. Now, AMD is kind of coming up on the performance for working with DaVinci Resolve, but DaVinci Resolve is a heavily GPU-based video editing software. And traditionally, the more GPUs you have, the better. Now, that made a big difference with the 30 series. So if you had 2, 3, 4 3090s, hey, you got a huge bump in performance. But this 40 series is so good, so efficient, power efficient as well compared to like what it's actually doing. I only need one, and that's the 4090. So that right here is the Gaming X Trio by MSI. I've been really happy with this, tested the heck out of this GPU. This thing is just a straight up beast. Now, it's such a beast that if you've seen a lot of my past build systems, I'm always water cooling my GPUs. This one was so good that I honestly lost interest to water cool. Like, yeah, I'm still water cooling the CPU, but this was just big in terms of its cooler size, and because of that, this thing has been just entirely quiet. The fans barely even spin. And so I'm just like, if I do water cool it, one, I'm gonna take away from the look because I do really like the look of the MSI Gaming X Trio line. I have a whole bunch of the Trio line, yeah. Yes, MSI they do send me a bunch of GPUs, and I've had other manufacturers send me GPUs as well. This lineup is kind of my style, put it that way. With the look, they're fairly quiet compared to the amount of electricity you can put into these things, and the performance has just been bar none. When I'm playing Star Citizen, 4K, full ultra settings, or any game, it's just fluid. And this is quiet, and I have not experienced any coil whine for the entire 40 series line that I've been testing for MSI. Some of the other ones that I've seen and tested, it can be quite loud with the coil whine. Now again, any manufacturer can have coil whine. These are just my experiences with the 4090, 4080, 4070 Ti, 4060 Ti. I think I'm missing some. I have a few of them. None of them had coil whine. So I've been really happy with that. Plus the performance, plus the temperatures on here. I haven't had any extreme heat spots or anything. Just everything's been very manageable, loving it. So the 4090 by MSI, the Gaming X Trio. Now, what's going to power all of this? All right, luckily I've been going to the gym. So what's powering all of this is this incredible beast right here. This is by Be Quiet. It's the Dark Power Pro 13. This is a 1600 watt, 80 plus titanium ATX 3.0 PCIe Gen 5.0 power supply unit. It is a beast. It is so feature rich that it can actually power two RTX 4090s, and yes, it does have two PCIe Gen 5.0 slots to power two 4090s. At 1600 watts, I'll be able to take care of the 13900 KS, which I'm definitely going to want to overclock the heck out of because it will have the direct die cooling by EKWB. This ASUS motherboard can definitely handle some serious overclocks. Even though it's a creator motherboard, yes, you can use it for gaming, you can use it for overclocking. I'm going to be pressing the Kingston Fury DDR5 RAM. And of course, I'm going to be having fun with one 4090, potentially two down the road. It all depends on the upgradability of it. And plus having 10 gigabit Ethernet in this system, it's going to be a beast. I'm still deciding on exactly which case I want to use. Currently my main that one is actually the Lee O11 Dynamic Evo. It actually has a thermal electric cooler on there right now by EKWB, cooling a 13900 KS, so it's sub-ambient cooling, which is quite nice. On idle, I'm averaging about 20 degrees Celsius, don't have to worry about condensation or anything, but it's not an appropriate device for benching, like to really push the system, because it's meant for gaming, it's meant for light video editing. When I'm doing heavy video editing, it does get up to 80, 90 degrees Celsius, where I think the direct die over an extended period of time of full load usage will do better. So the direct die also doesn't use added electricity. Thermoelectric cooling does, so that's adding about an extra 210 or so watts when I'm trying to cool the 13900 KS, so that'll actually aid in my power usage as well. That system also has two 80 plus gold 1200 watt PSUs in there, because I'm dividing up the power from the GPU to the CPU and thermoelectric cooler and dividing that between two different uninterruptible power supply units. So my UPS units only go to 800 watts. That system's hitting 1000, so I needed to have two power supply units and then divide that with the UPS unit so I could, split all that. See my previous videos on that. Little simple, little complicated. All depends on, I guess, your background with PCs and UPS units, blah, blah, blah. So this system right here that is off right now, that is a 7950X system, does have a 4080, but I love the case. It is the Thermaltake Distro Case 350p. The whole case is basically a water-cooled, personified, glorious, wonderful PC case. Absolutely love it, but it does really only fit one GPU. And then we have over here my Threadripper system. It's a Threadripper 3970X. That definitely fits two GPUs, if not more, depending on the size of the GPUs. And typically I have 3090s in that one, but that is in the Antec 1200. What case is that? Enthu Lux 2. They changed the name on it and it threw me off, so yeah. And I love Fantex cases, I love the Thermaltake cases, I love the Lee cases. Be Quiet just had a brand new line of cases come out as well, the Dark Base Pro 901. I'm really having my eyes on. Check out my YouTube video on that from Computex in Taipei, Taiwan. So we will see, but this is the initial mix. For the pump, definitely going to be using an EK pump res combo, most likely. If not, a distribution plate with a pump integrated into it, depending on the case that I use. So, as you can tell, this is going to be a serious PC, and this is going to be my main PC going forward until something fascinating and interesting comes out, maybe like a I don't know, 14900 KS or 15900K, we'll see, you know. There's always future stuff coming down the line, and once I put all this together, it's obsolete that following week. So that's life. So if you have any questions about this build or suggestions as well, let me know. The fluid I will be using is liquid graphene. It's proven to be excellent. I definitely love it. I've been using it in a number of systems long term with no residual gunk buildup or anything. It's very viscous, and oh, it's right here. And it's actually by Go Chiller. So it is jet black fluid, very, very smooth, viscous, so there's no buildup. And I've been using it in this system, that system, and other systems. So for almost 2 years now, very happy with it. And so, yep, I got enough. I don't have to order more. And so when it comes to fans, we'll see my Threadripper system uses, the Be Quiet Silent Wings 3 fans. I absolutely love them. I know Be Quiet just came with the Silent Wings 4 line, so I may take a look at that. This system over here is using the Arctic P12 ARGB fans. Absolutely love the look of them as well, but they are kind of different classes. The Arctic ones are a little more affordable. The Be Quiet ones, they're kind of high class type of thing. There's some differences. So maybe I'll do a video review of both, but those have been my two go-to fans. I typically don't use any other fan companies because I'm so happy with them. So with that, let me know if you have questions. Thank you very much for watching, and I got to come up with a name for this build. So if you have some suggestions for a name for the builds, let me know in the comment section below. All right, everybody, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Peace.